guys, it's Stasia. Welcome back to my channel. So, it's gonna be a few days late, but as you can tell from the title, today I will be doing my January wrap-up. In the month of January, I read 12 books, a total of 3,756 pages. Of those, 6 were print, 6 were ebook, and then 5 were audiobooks with the print book, if that makes sense. I read 5 romance, 3 fantasy, 2 thriller, 1 sci-fi, and 1 other. So, to get into the books, the first book I read in the month of January was actually Heartstopper Volume 2. I'm still waiting for my library to get Volume 3. Everyone tells me it's online, and I know that, but I don't know why. I'm still waiting for my library to get it. But Heartstopper Volume 2 was an easy 5-star. If you don't know what this book is about, I would tell you the brief summary of the first one so it doesn't spoil anything. But it's basically about a guy, or 2 boys named Nick and Charlie, and they become friends and eventually other things. But yeah, I gave that one 5 stars. I love how patient Charlie is with Nick throughout their journey, and it's just like, it warms my heart to know that they are there for each other. So that was my first read, and that was a 5-star. The second book I read was The Flatshare, and I gave that one 4 stars. I read this one for the Book Boyfriends Are Better book club, and I'll leave them linked down below if you want to check them out. So if you don't know what The Flatshare is about, it's about 2 characters, Tiffy and Leon, and they basically share a flat. They worked alternating shifts, so Leon worked at night and Tiffy was at the flat at night, and then Tiffy worked in the daytime and Leon was there in the daytime. So it's a really cute read. I was laughing multiple times throughout the book, but it was 4 stars because although I enjoyed Leon as a character so much, he's amazing, his chapters were written almost like a brain dump. So it took me a little bit to get into it and figure out his flow, because you can tell the difference between Tiffy and Leon's chapters, and I did enjoy Tiffy's chapters more, but Leon's not as much, and that's the reason why it just wasn't up there for a 5-star for me. Next, I read The Princess Trap, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. This one was kind of like an impulse buy. One of my friends, I believe it was Elise from the Mini-a-thon, mentioned that it was 99 cents on the Kindle store, so all of us bought it and we all read it. So it was a fun time. I didn't personally feel like it was a 5-star, and it seemed like a really short book. But yeah, so I found myself wanting more from the actual relationship between the characters, whereas what we got was a lot of steam and not as much conversation. So I feel like if there was more conversation and more of their relationship without the steam and the sex, then maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. But yeah, so I gave that one a 3.5 star. Next, I read The Wife Upstairs, and this was for the Book Troop, which is a book club ran by Gabby Reads. I gave this one 4 stars. I really love this book. I was on my edge of the seat the entire time. It's supposed to be a Jane Eyre retelling, but I've never read Jane Eyre, so couldn't tell you how it stands up against that or anything like that. I don't know if it would have enhanced my experience or anything. But yeah, so it's supposed to be a Jane Eyre retelling, and although I was on my edge of the seat, it was very suspenseful. It was super fast paced, and it was pretty short. The reason why I needed to knock it down a little bit was because I did not like the ending at all. I felt like the ending was very anticlimactic. They could have done a lot more with it, and I just felt like it was pretty bland, I guess you could say, in comparison to the rest of the book. It kind of was just it just stopped. And I just didn't like that ending. A lot of people said that it's kind of like an eerie ending because in a way it sort of is open-ended, but I just wish that we seen more of the characters instead of the ending just being point blank, this happened. But so the next 6 books I'm just gonna run through really quick because I did it for a secret TBR, and that secret TBR was reading my friend's favorite books. So I'll leave that in the cards and in the description if you are interested in checking it out. But I'll run through them right now with my rating, and what the book was. The first book I read for that was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Then I read Love from A to Z, and I gave this one 4 stars. Next, I read The Monstrous graphic novel volume 1, and I gave that one 4 stars as well. Next, I read The Beautiful, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. Then I read Pretty Girls, and this one also was 4.5 stars. And lastly, for that vlog, I read Every Soul a Star, and this one was 3 stars. So if you're interested in any of my thoughts for any of those 6 books, definitely check out my vlog down below. Next, I read my 12 and 12 pick. If you don't know what 12 and 12 is, it's basically like a reading challenge that I put for myself, and I'll leave that video down below. But if you have watched it already, you'll know that my January pick was Divergent, and honestly, I had no idea what to expect going into this, but I actually gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I do have the second book, and that is on my TBR for the month of February, but it was a very fast read. I read it in 2 days. Now going back and looking at my description of Divergent in my 12 and 12, kind of embarrassed, but it's fine. I know more what it's about now. So basically, this is a dystopian world where people are put into factions based on like their personality, I guess, like some qualities about them. And it's about this girl named Triss, who is basically picking her new faction after she turns of age. And I mean, this book has been around for a while, so I'm sure like you know like what goes on and what happens, but I read the movie years ago and absolutely did not remember much of it. But after reading this, I'm not sure if I want to watch the movie. I know a lot of people say that the movie's significantly worse, but I might do it anyways. But this is a 5-star read, so my 12 and 12 challenge is off to a great start. Lastly, I read an ebook, and that was That Boy by Jillian Dodd. I have kind of mixed feelings about this. I did give it 3.5 stars, which is kind of weird because I loved most of the characters. I loved the story, but the writing to me was just very off. It seemed very juvenile, and I didn't really like that. It was messy and it was choppy, and it just, I didn't care for it. But it made sense in the beginning, because in the beginning we follow a girl named JJ, and it starts with her as a young girl. So it makes sense as to why her thoughts were choppy and everything in the beginning, but I felt like it should have progressed, and it didn't, because it does end with her as like an adult, but there was no like growth in the writing. Like the writing didn't mature for me. But I did really enjoy the book enough to get the second book at least. It is just a quick little like small town romance read on Kindle Unlimited, and I really enjoyed it if it wasn't for the writing. So if you're really like critical on writing, I'm not sure I would recommend this one for you. But if you're just looking for something fun, I mean, I would recommend it to you. It was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the characters, even though JJ, the main character, she kind of bothered me at some point. But I mean, that's fine. I did love the love interest, and it was just a fun time, honestly. So I gave that one 3.5 stars, even though the writing was like not that great. But I think it's kind of more like a 3.75. Usually I do half stars and not anything like 0.25 or 0.75. But this is kind of a book that is definitely like a 3.75 type of vibe. But yes, so those were all the books that I read in the month of January. Go ahead and share down below how many books you read, or which was your favorite read, anything like that. If you have any thoughts, feelings, or comments, you can leave that down below. You can also subscribe and like all of my handles for all of my social media, including my Goodreads, Instagram, Twitter, and Amazon wishlist are in the description if you want to check it out. But that's all from me today, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!